Welcome to a new Harry's Farm video, and yeah, we're getting the combine out. Harvest is nowhere near ready, but Cotswold Farm Machinery, Mark in particular, who specialises on axial flow combines, is giving the service to this thing for its sort of out of hibernation, getting ready for the sea waters are being changed, all getting greased up, and a general check over. Yeah, you put the combine away, it's a big job. You spray it off, clean it as much as you can. I actually use this. This is ACF 50. Now, this is a rust preventer, and everything, I just plaster everything on it because you want all this sort of kit. You've washed it, you want it all to stay shiny, etc. You look round, this combine is 2009, so it's coming into its, well, I'm not sure if it's its 10th or 11th season, but it's all pretty clean. I take all this off to expose the drum, as you can see in here. I'm mindful of I don't really get rats here, but we have squirrels, and squirrels have done a little bit of mischief, I'll show you in a minute. But there's all this, all the joints, you're just checking everything. It works really hard for about 6 weeks of the year, and then it sat still. Yeah, it all opened up. We're having a engine oil change, etc. Gallons of it. I don't know if you look just there. That's the amount going in the engine. It is a huge amount of oil in one of these engines. It's nice having a combine service because fairly obviously they come and service it at your house. You don't take this to go in somewhere for a service. We're changing a few belts here. We're going to speed up the chopper. A straw chopper on the back wasn't really doing a good enough job, so I'm hoping to speed up there. But he's checking all the chains, elevators, muck. You wash it out as much as you can. There's always something. And then I brought the header out so you can connect all that up as well. CF50, just look how, you know, it's super shiny. It's just finished harvest. I use a rag and go all over it to try and preserve it as much as I can. But the squirrels are a nightmare because you don't know where they're going to strike, because you can never get the last bit of graze out. If I take this camera up here, you'll see this bit. I should have cleaned it out a bit better. We don't like to spray it with water, but they've chewed some wires, little devils, just those two wires, and then a wire here. Who knows why? Can't understand how squirrels work, but yeah, just those two wires. That's all they've chewed. This is fine. Can't find anything anywhere else. So anyway, that's what's going on this morning. It's probably going to be here for 6-7 hours. We're trying to replace one of these bars here, but we're waiting on stock. One of the things with the coronavirus is spares don't come through quite so quickly, and that's why we're doing a service now, end of May, ready for harvest. So anyway, so the combine's got another few hours of fettling before we get there. What I want to show you is the wheat, because you might have noticed here in the UK it's been particularly dry, and I saw last night that they're now going to say that the May this year is the driest May on record. And while it's been very good for the lockdown period to enjoy all the sun, I'm afraid the crops are starting to really suffer. We were looking at some wheat just a few weeks ago, last video I did on Harry's Farm, while I was explaining how the sprayer works, etc. Well, that wheat has really suffered in the last couple of weeks with this intense heat, no rain, and it looks very different now. It's a real worry. So let's go and have a look at that field now. Okay, well, this is the field we were spraying that day. We'd taken the decision that day. There was a pretty good crop in here. This was late drilled. It was this bit I'm standing in now. I think it was in the beginning of March. It was raining all the way through February. There was an area over there that was slightly ahead. We drilled in December, and it looked okay. It had come back quite well. And at a casual glance, it sort of looks green and it's all right. It's not all right. This is dying on its feet. If you look, swing the camera down, this is what we're now facing. This looks a very ill crop. It's just about to put an ear out. If I just pull this up, there's an ear hiding in there. This is known as the flag leaf. You can see it's all curled up. That's something the plant does to stop its exposure to the sun. There is an ear hiding in here. If I just open this up, there it is. There's the ear of wheat forming inside the wheat plant, ready to pop up, and that would have appeared probably in another week or 10 days. But the crop is dying, and it's purely drought doing this. I was pretty shocked when I came up here beginning of the week. This has been filmed on Friday, and I came up here Monday, Tuesday, and to see this crop just dying. I'd had a hint of it last year, but nothing on the scale of this. And this is May. Last year it just started to curl up like this in June, and then we had quite a lot of rain in June and it saved it. There's nothing on the forecast. But if we go over here, oh, it's even worse over here. So this crop has just basically given up the ghost. It's all curled. The ears were, this is the bit we drilled in December, so it is slightly ahead. The wheat ear is hiding. It's like it's frozen in time. It said, no, we're not doing any more growing. We're just going to curl up. And the soil is this has just gone to dust. And it's something I'm starting to live with, because this is the third year on the trot we've suffered these sort of conditions, but we've never had it this early. And I put the drone up. I'm just shocked to see what it actually looks like. You can tell by the soil types. You've got bare patches in here that we couldn't grow a crop on at all because it was so wet, it was flooded out. We tried to put a crop in and that was flooded out. And now we've got the crop droughting out and we can't grow it. It's a pretty serious situation. The wheat harvest in the UK was predicted to be, well, it's normally about 16.5 million tonnes. I've known years up to 18 million tonnes in the UK. It was predicted at 10 million tonnes this year, so a dramatic fall already because of all those floods. Not all the wheat went in. There's a new report I read this morning that 26% of wheat is severely backward and not a good crop. And when they did the 10 million prediction, it was about 8% was bad. I can see we're heading for an 8 million tonne crop of wheat. That's a very serious situation for the UK going forward into August, September, and it's just the supply of wheat through the year. We're going to be importing Brexit, all the rest of it, who knows what's to come. But yeah, bread prices will probably go up. Funny enough, they're so cheap bread that it probably, even if wheat price doubles, you probably only notice 10p on a loaf, so it's not a dramatic change. But as a farmer, this is just, forget this. You've put the inputs in, but when you're up with a wheat plant like that, there's nothing coming back. I would be surprised if we actually combine all this field. Even if we have a rain in the next week or two, will this be rescued? From that drone footage, I'm not so sure. Fortunately, the whole farm doesn't look like this. Let's go and have a look at the linseed. Okay, well, here's the linseed. I'm sort of hoping as I walk down here, some deer actually leap out of here. We've got about 3 deer that live around here. We are miles from any roads around here. It really is in the middle of a sort of land block. There's quite a lot of wildlife around here. Typically when we bring this camera up, they're not going to leap out of here. But the number of deer we've got is actually getting to a critical level. I was in the field of wheat the other day and there was a herd of them. There was, I'm guessing, 14 or 15 deer, fallow deer, red, I think these are red, the ones that live down here, roe deer, munkjacks as well. But they're almost getting to the point where we might have to control, and it's something you do with a number of farms. You say, okay, we'll take 3 or 4 males out of the herd because they graze a huge area, but they want this sort of natural oasis in the middle of nowhere. And it's also why we got those 6-metre margins, because they nibble away on that. Weirdly, I don't notice much damage in the crop. They tend to eat the margins, they tend to eat the berries on the out the hedge and stuff like that. But anyway, here's the linseed, and yeah, it sort of cheers me up after looking at all that wheat and how bad that was. This isn't looking too bad. Yes, it's a little short in here, but there is a good crop. This really is, yeah, it's nice to see a bee. There we are, pollinating the flowers. The flowers are only last 1 day, and then they put another flower out the following day is how it works. And these are the buds. These are going to be the seed pods come harvest time developing, and you're just hoping it will continue to flower. And if I pull the crop away, sorry bee, look at all the petals down there on the ground. Yeah, really pretty. They fall off in a couple of hours, there won't be any flowers on show. But this field has really come back. It's continued to grow. Doesn't seem to notice the drought in like the way the wheat does. And all those areas I thought were really weak and it wasn't consistent across the field, they've come up. And I was down there beginning of the week, amazed at what the crop looks like. So yeah, it looks like linseed is going to put us through the really poor wheat. It'll bring back something. This isn't getting affected by this drought at the moment. But it's still early days, and I'm seeing some of it just starting to change colour, and that's a bit early in May. I want that to be changing colour sort of mid-June time. Who knows? We'll see how it continues. But I just now want to go and show you the cattle, because we had a little fun time moving the cattle the other day, put them down the valley. But even there, the drought is starting to affect things. So let's go and have a look at the cows now. Well, here are the cows doing the sensible thing, hiding under the trees down there. Now it's lovely permanent pasture down here. This is all the ones with the wildflowers, and we graze it according to a sort of scale to let the wildflowers come up. But they drink from a brook which is down in those trees along there, and it's dried up and there is no water down here anymore. There is a little bit right at the top of this field, and that's the only place they can drink. And I'm just amazed that, you know, you've seen me wandering around in waders down here when it was in full flood, and it wasn't that long ago. That was February, beginning of February, so March, April, May, just about to go into June. 4 months, it's not full 4 months, 3 and a bit months ago, full flood, and now we're droughted out completely. But they're okay. The grass is quite lush down the bottom, as long as they've got water, but it is restricting us of where we can actually graze. There's a field next one to this, the grass field here. We can't graze it at all because there's no water in there. The brook is completely dry. We can graze the next one up here, and then we've got one other with water in it. The other thing we're fighting during the lockdown, I keep picking up rubbish, and people are having picnics here, there and everywhere, trespassing and just leaving their rubbish behind. Drives you nuts as a farmer, having to clear up rubbish, and especially so when you've got livestock, because they do have a habit of sort of munching on bits of plastic and bottles, and it's not good news. And a particular nightmare for most farmers at the moment is when people go dog walking and they poo pick and they put the poo in a bag and then leave the bag. I've seen several reports now over the last few weeks of cattle and horses dying from eating a poo bag and then getting stuck in the gullet. It's not good news. So please, if you are using, going out for a picnic and enjoying, and that's what countryside's there for, please stick to footpaths and bridleways, and please take your rubbish away so I don't have to clear it up, or other farmers have to clear it up, because we want to protect the cattle, and that's what we're concerned about. And you don't know where it's been left, so you're always just searching just in case. Anyway, let's go now on a happier subject, go look at my first wheat, which is another block of wheat away from here, because that's actually looking pretty good at the moment. So okay, this is the block of first wheat. This is Skyfall. Actually all the wheat on the farm is Skyfall, and this is where the linseed was last year, and we managed to get drilled in October, right at the very end of October, and it's looked good ever since we put it in the ground, and it continues to look good. What I'm looking for, I hope the wind isn't interfering with the mic too much, is consistency again, right into the corners, and no sort of weed grasses coming up, wild oats or sterile brome or something. If you look across this field, there's not a weed in sight. It's a healthy colour. I can see it's still under stress, this crop, but being a first wheat, it has a better root system than the second wheat, where all that is dying off. There's a fungal disease in the soil that wheat is susceptible to, called take-all, and that's part of the problem on that wheat where it's dying out, because it's a second wheat, it's built up a bit of take-all, in the ground, and that has a go at the root system, and they don't grow as many roots as they should. And you think your crop looks all right when it's nice and wet, and then it dries out, and hey presto, by the name of the disease, take-all, it just dies. So that isn't affecting here. This is no take-all in here. That's why you use a break crop. And yeah, it's all looking pretty good actually. This is sort of what you want it to look like. There's still drought stress. Can you see it's still got the top of the leaves are all rounding out, and this is just flowering. So if you get hay fever like I do off wheat, this is full of pollen at the moment. It's self-pollinating, so there's no bees involved. The other thing about this, I don't know if you can see, it's like a barley. It's an awned wheat. It's a bearded wheat is what it's termed. And I choose Skyfall because it's good in drought conditions. It's a sort of, they act like the leaves. It's an early wheat, and it just seems to do well even in a dry year, which is good when you're on stony ground like this. If you're going to get a drought, well, we're the sort of ground that gets affected the most. A little bit worried, it's just, you know, that's quite a lot of tillers. Not all the tillers are out yet. So, and I'm also checking for aphids. I thought I'd just seen one there, but no, we're all right at the moment. So yeah, this wheat is looking pretty good. My only hesitation is the wheat that I showed you earlier was looking okay 2 weeks ago. This desperately wants a drink as well, otherwise it's going to go the same way as the other wheat up there. So every farmer is facing this at the moment. All the chatter on Twitter amongst farmers is, have you had any rain? How bad's your crop? There is some thunderstorms potentially forecast for the next weekend, which we hope and pray we get. But I've just never known a year, well, I have known a year with a drought, but I've never known a period in my farming life where there's 3 years on the trot where you're struggling in drought conditions at this time of year. And in 2020, you just that one extreme. You were flooded out right until the end of February, and then we've gone to this where we have no rain at all. 3 years on a trot, it does make you wonder what's going on with the world's climate, but we battle on. I hope you'll join me in probably another week or two, and we'll see what's developed. So thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, well, please subscribe and keep watching, because there'll be more videos coming along very soon.